Welcome to Disclosure Network New York Zoom meeting. Today is Sunday, that's March 3rd, 2020. I'm Nick Curto, dnny director and co-founder. dnny is a grassroots organization now celebrating our 19th year, which is incredible, of providing 2 meetings per month throughout the year in Manhattan. We focus on cutting-edge UFO, ET issues, paranormal phenomenon, as well as related important subjects that are in back of the mainstream news headlines. In other words, who or what is pulling the strings? What is in back of the news? And that affects everything. Our members do intensive investigative research into these various topics and share that information with the group at our meetings, whether they be in person or in this case, a Zoom meeting, as well as our internet followers that are on YouTube. And that's a great group there. We have a fair amount of followers too. Now our motto right from day one is, quote, connecting the dots to seek truth, unquote. We have available to everyone worldwide the DNNY News Blast email service focusing on cutting edge topics of special interest. The service is totally free. Just visit our website, and I'm going to give you that right now. If you get a piece of paper and a pencil, that is dnny.info, dnny.info. And just type in your email address and then click to send, and you'll be put on the list, and you'll be getting emails, cutting edge information every single day. Would someone please turn the mute on so I'm getting a background noise? Please turn it on. You'll then be connected with our current listing, and we have many people out there that contribute. And I just want to thank all the deep researchers that contribute to all this information that goes out. I'd like to welcome everybody to this Zoom meeting. I believe it's our 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Welcome. And I want to ask you, if you will, right off the bat, if you give your first name. We'll start at the top left, and then give me, in about a minute, just something or a couple things that are currently occupying your mind. So if you will do that, we can start off. So Don, if I could ask you, if you would undo that button so you can, there you go. And then Don, tell me what's on your mind right now, a couple of things.
I'm looking for mute.
No, Don, you got it on mute. You got to click it. It's on mute. I can't hear you. Don. Oh boy. It's the button on the bottom left. Bottom left. Don isn't listening. He's not listening. He's not listening. He doesn't understand. I don't know how to get a hold of him either. Oh boy. All right, we're going to go on from there then. We're going to skip that for the moment. What's on mind right now is all about Don.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can. Now, Don, tell me, within a minute, what's on your mind? A couple things.
Well, it takes less than a minute to express essentially what most people are thinking, and that is what's happening to the world, particularly our own country, the state of capitalism in terms of people not being able to work for good reasons. I do believe this may be, in a way, something that we had to experience to find out essentially where we are going as a society, where we are at currently in terms of national interests as opposed to individual ones. But that's about it at this point.
Well, that's excellent. That's a lot. I agree with you. Absolutely.
I could go on and on.
Well, we'll have more time. We're going to have more time for that, so not to worry.
Because I won't be here too longer. I have too much longer. I've got a job I'm doing currently for someone who died of the COVID. And make a long story short, he's been in the morgue for 2 weeks now.
Oh boy!
He's someone I know for at least 35 or 40 years.
Yeah.
In fact, he was a tenant in this building. And so I'm trying to prepare for him, not to be morbid, I'm trying to prepare for him something that his ashes and that of his mother will be put in together and shipped to Dauphin in Canada. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to go back to.
that's a lot. That's a lot, Don.
Yeah.
My
Gotta be
sympathy
done.
to you and to Ron. That's a heavy deal to do.
Yeah, I'm expecting a call any time now because he's away 2 weeks. He died in the nursing home. And the story is essentially is that I have power of attorney combined with executive of the will. And I just have to be responsible up to the very last time I deal with this particular case. So when I leave you, which won't be here too long, I've got to go and continue working on his burial thing, only because I know they'll be calling me any day now. So I've got to be ready.
First things
Yeah.
first, and just get through a very bad time. I can
Yeah.
imagine what that's
Yeah.
like. Right now, what I'm going through right now, among other things, is thinking about Dr. Fossey and what's going on with that, the backstories we're hearing right now, also the inoculations with Bill Gates and all that. And we'll be dealing with that a little bit. So quickly, that's what's on my mind right at this moment. Okay, Hal, if you will, take off your mute. You got a mute on your screen. And then tell us, please, what's on your mind right now?
Well, a couple of things. One, you read a lot of articles about how your state of mind affects health, society, and everything else. And yet all you hear on all sides is bad news and bad news and bad news. So it's almost like people are reveling in it. It's important, but it seems like a lot of people are reveling in it. The other thing on my mind, which is something Tom had brought up the last meeting, there's all these videos of a doctor, a nurse, always saying the hospitals are empty and that they're killing people. Yet it seems if you talk to anybody in hospitals or nursing homes, you get a completely different answer. Anyway, that's what's on my mind.
Yeah, there are a lot of very conflicting reports. You're right, and I think it's confusing us all. Okay, we're going to go ahead with Anthony. Anthony, please share with us about a minute's worth. What's on your mind?
Sure. My main observation really has been the silent streets and what's brought to our attention. Homeless people, food distribution, telecommunications. I hate to say it, but I'm feeling a lot of positive things there, less pollution. So I'm just kind of looking at this as a chance to revision things. And I'm also looking for psychic phenomena, both at night and just what other people are experiencing in terms of dreams and where we're going to move forward.
Excellent. That's a lot going on. Good for you. Okay, Jean, if you will.
Hi.
Yes.
First, I want to thank you because it's great to be part of this, even though we can't get together. I read a lot of Dolores Cannon, and it seems to me that what's going on is part of what she talks about is the new earth, and that our friends, the extraterrestrials, are helping us in this. So if anybody has any comment on that, I'd love to hear about it.
Well, so would I. That's excellent. And we want to go into that area, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sonia, please, a couple of your thoughts.
Okay. Hi. Yeah, what's on my mind is that, well, personally for me, I fear that this vaccine that they're trying to push, is it something that's going to be a requirement, and how am I going to get out of it? This is my fear. Are they going to force us that we need to have it in order to have access to certain services? I'm not taking the vaccine no matter what. I know that. And and I was listening to that program, that email that you sent me to do the One World show that they did, how they're using the celebrities, the elite, to push their agenda.
Oh, yeah.
And then following up on that, all these commercials, making it look like being locked down at home, they're using these other words, safety, a time of creativity, celebrating. And this ain't that time for celebrating, man. We're being quarantined, they're treating us, they're lying to us, So that angers me, when I see that. And this other stuff. But for now, those are like a couple of things right now that, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we all are thinking of those too. You're not alone, believe me. Okay, Doreen, take it, please.
Oh, thank you, Nick. For me, I just kind of have a more positive attitude. I realize that I'm not going to fall prey to propaganda and all these experts. And my vision is, how can we raise the consciousness of the planet, pull together, and have the power to overcome all this negative stuff, and things will change, and they'll change for the better. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's all of us pulling together that will make the change. So be careful what you believe, because that becomes your reality. So,
You know, a couple of times in the last few months in Central Park, in back of the museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where the Cleopatra's Needle is, the
Yeah, I know
obelisk
that,
there,
yeah.
we did a meditation for world peace and for enlightenment, and also to reach out for ETs and say we're there in peace and we want to connect. We did that,
Aw.
and we also did that at the first meeting we had for the new year. So Doreen, what you're saying, you got it. Absolutely. This is so important. And as you know, what you're thinking and meditating can really have some major effects. You're not isolated by, in fact, if anything, you're connected. And the more of us that are on that level, the better. So absolutely. Thank you. Okay, Michael, please take it.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Doreen. That was lovely. Just a wave to you. I have a couple things going on. I think I told you, Nick, that I am going to be ordering the second volume of William Tompkins' book, Selected by Extraterrestrials. I just want to call that to everybody's attention. I did give a little talk a while back, about a year ago or so, in which I brought up Tompkins quite a bit. So he's got another volume. He is dead, but he had finished the second book. And the first one was terribly edited, but apparently Michael Salla got involved in the editing of this book, so it should be a lot better in terms of its organizational abilities, and still have fascinating material in it. That's one thing on my mind. The other thing was, you sent out an article about sort of an overview of the release of the footage from the Pentagon and a whole lot of other things connected to it, about technology we never knew we had. And there was a little insert of a video by a guy from Montana who talked about extraterrestrials being beings that were from other times. So they would be called extratemporals. And I just found that very fascinating, because time travel being now pretty well established as not only possible, but happening, are aliens beings from the distant future, the distant past, the near future, the near past. And so that whole concept was very interesting to me.
Well, Bill, what I'd like to ask you, Michael, is that Bill's first book, I know you've read that, and you're waiting for now to get the second volume, which is coming. I believe Amazon said it's coming due any moment, right?
It's coming to me in a week. Yeah, Amazon's not in a real big hurry, you know. They've got enough orders and priorities, and they've got worker issues and so forth. So it says it'll be here next weekend.
So what I'm asking you, Michael, if you will, that when we do our next Zoom meeting, which will be in 2 weeks on a Sunday at 2 o'clock, could you take about 20 minutes and just give us the general picture, the big picture of the first book of Bill's?
Okay.
Because I think that would be it's cutting edge, as cutting edge as it gets. And I think if you would do that, and then when you do get the second book and go through it, then you could do a part 2 about the second volume. Would you be willing?
Absolutely.
I would love that. I think everybody would really get a great deal out of that. And his life and all the things that he saw and touched, it's absolutely cutting edge, genius, amazing. So that would be so interesting. So I'm going to put that on the agenda, Michael, for in 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay, great. Yeah. Tompkins apparently told somebody outside the book, one of his people, he said, when it was asked, he said, well, my mother was different from all of her siblings. She was just totally not the same. And so, of course, she thinks she probably wasn't human.
Wow, and that starts it off. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
well, Michael, thank you for that. We look forward to
Good.
your report.
More
Okay,
people.
Carol. Carol, hello. Good to see you. You got to unmute, Carol.
Hi there.
There you go. There you go. Hi. How are you feeling with your leg?
Oh, my leg is pretty good. Walk a mile a day now, so
Good
I
for
gotta
you.
keep that up.
Excellent. I'm so glad you're getting around. That was quite an operation you had. Oh my God. You're a
I got a
survivor.
knee replacement for those that don't know.
No, you're a survivor and you're doing well. I'm so glad you're getting around outside.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
give us about a minute or so. What's on your mind right now? What kinds of things are you contemplating thinking about? What's going on?
Well, I've been really busy working remotely, and that relates to business in the law. We're getting ready to accept a lot of prepare for lots of bankruptcies, they say. And they brought up the what do you call that? Contact tracing, which is rather annoying to me. So I asked the EVP if weren't there some civil liberties issues with contact tracing. So we'll see, because he likes to push all sorts of software. It's not that he's involved in any kind of nefarious activities. He just likes to push new software things to make himself sound wonderful. But I don't like the idea, and neither does my other coworker. So we'll see what happens with that. So I've been reading more on that. And when I do have time in between, since I don't commute right now, I have a little time to do other readings. So I've been going through some of your emails. I've been doing my spiritual studies, and I joined Richard Dolan has a meetup group like this. Well, on his site, a few members of his site have gotten together and done meetups. So they're discussing Richard Dolan's theories, ideas, things along those lines. Sarah told me about it, and I was already a member, so I've been involved with that. And that's been pretty much it. A few people I know have had problems with the coronavirus, getting sick, and one person's ex-wife died, and his daughter got it, and her husband got it.
Oh.
So there've been a few people that have been sick, but I'm fine, so.
Oh boy, well, I'm sorry to hear about your friends and family. I'm glad you're okay, and we have to make sure that we are healthy, eating well, exercising well. Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of vitamins.
Yes, no,
And
absolutely.
medicinal mushrooms, they're very helpful.
Yes. Oh yeah, very good. Okay, we're gonna go. I can't see your name on here. It just says REVVL2. Not your name. What's your name?
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this is Jean Duffy. I'm having problems with my computer and now my phone, but okay, it's Jean Duffy, is REVV.
Jean, good
Thank
to
you.
have you here, and I can hear you very well. So you're good. You technically you surmounted your issues. You did. Now tell us
Thank you.
About a minute, but give us an idea. Like, what's going on now? What are you focusing on?
Recently, I've started focusing on, like the lady said earlier, Dolores Cannon, and she was talking about the new Earth, which I had my own experience seeing a sunrise and a sunset in one sky. And back in 2004, Dolores Cannon mentioned 5D as in David, and I find it interesting that today the buzzword is 5G as in George. And yeah, I just find, certain synchronicities, I guess you could say. A lot of friends having problems digesting meat and pork. And in one of her videos in 2011, Dolores Cannon said the DNA of people are going to start changing for the new Earth. And I thought it was also interesting how the big rush for everybody to get DNA testing, all the advertisements, I thought that was kind of synchronicity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been thinking of.
Yeah, well, I can understand that. They're all issues that will affect us all various ways, and we have to make some big decisions coming right up. Okay, Sonia, hi.
Hi.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, want to start the group? Okay. I just want to share something, an article that I read. on YouTube, and it was it's called the Wi-Fi Kill Shot by this guy Ante. Anyway, he says 5G at 60 gigahertz resonates with the oxygen molecule and gives oxygen a reverse polarity that makes it much less usable to the human body. At high concentrations of 5G uses, you get suffocation of humans at street level. And at lower doses, you get flu-like symptoms, which are the exact same symptoms as the flu, with this lower oxygen uptake by the body. But the way 5G kills is much more interesting. Our bodies have trillions of parasites, organisms inside. They feed on us, and some might help us live by, doing better useful functions. But when these bacteria and fungi and parasites are subject to any Wi-Fi microwave radiation, they are harmed and begin reproducing toxins in self-defense. These organisms begin reproducing rapidly to ensure their survival. And so we get flu-like symptoms from these internal parasite organisms under attack from Wi-Fi microwave radiation, reproducing rapidly and excreting toxins. This is the real illness people are getting, not a bioweapon coronavirus. So 5G should really be called 297G, not 5G. All right, so with this 5G rollout in China, Korea, Italy, Iran, and the cruise ship, we have the greatest concentration of 5G usage and the greatest concentration of illness and death in the world.
Yep, absolutely true. Everything you just said, and we've been sending a lot of bulletins on that. And the more you realize what 5G is going to do to everyone in its path, this is critical. We can't let that happen. We're going to go into that a little more, but that is certainly a big target of interest.
Yeah, I would like to type in the chat. I'm going to send it to you where I got it from, because the guy has it on. You could print it out. What I was just reading, there's more to it, so you could give it to others.
One thing I just want to add quickly is that there's a lot of editing of trying to anything that's negative about 5G. The big companies are trying to get it off the internet. Would everybody please put the mute on, because I'm getting a lot of background noise. Don, everybody hit the mute, because the background, don't forget we're recording this. We want to have a good soundtrack. Thank you, everybody, if you will. And Gene, also a 5G, when it's being these high microwave that comes right into your homes, into your skin, and it enables you not to breathe the oxygen, and of course you're going to get sick. And this goes on all the countries now, and we're starting to get wise to it. But there's a lot of disinformation the big power companies are aggressively putting out, as you know. This is a really hot button. Thank you. David, can you hear me? David, are you there? In Connecticut, David, are you there? No, I can't hear him. I can see his name and I can see the phone, but I can't see anything else. All right. Well, who's the one on the last one, the 631? Who is that? Hello? The person who is on the last square on the right? It's a phone? Hello? Yeah, you. Hello. What's your name? I'm not hearing anything. All right, we're going to go on then. We're going to go on to that. We're going to go on to a question. I've got a couple of them I want to put out there with this group. And again, we're going to go from Don on the upper left-hand side. Just give us, it can't be too long because we have a lot of people, but the question basically is, there are people in this world that are billionaires, trillionaires. You can name them. Some of them are Bill Gates, George Soros, Elon Musk, and they're not the only one. The Rockefellers, it goes on and on, that have made some major decisions for all of us, that they feel as though they know better of what was good for us. And one of them that they all seem to agree on is deleting the population by a huge factor. In other words, killing people for the good of the planet. That's what they're advocating. And this goes into the inoculations and 5G and all the rest of it that's going on. So my question is this. Now, these people are in a position to feed the world, build homes for the world. They could do so much for humanity. And yet, look what they're doing. The question is, what propels someone to adopt Satan as their God and take part in rituals, blood rituals that I won't go into the details. I think you all know how bad it gets with children and babies. It goes on and on. Anyhow, my question is this. What do you think would make these people, these are powerful people, do this? Get into that area. Why in the world would they do that? If anybody has an opinion, I'm going to start with Don. Don.
Well, okay. Let's be honest about this. The founding fathers of this country, Washington, Madison, Adams, Hamilton, it goes on and on. They were thrown out of England. England had, and you may not think this is related to what I'm saying, but it is. England had a House of Lords run by the wealthy. So they designed the Senate. The House of Commons is exactly what it meant to them. These people were not members of. They wound up making here the House of Representatives. You have a country where capitalism, that ism from the Latin, okay, means extreme. That's been allowed to exist and proliferate. People here have a very funny notion that as long as the flag, which is red, white, and blue, has a blue background and two letters, red and white, spelling me, is okay, not us. So what has gone on, what is going on, has been essentially allowed by a dumbed up population. If they wanted to curtail any of this from going on further, they would use something called boycotts. Okay? They would boycott. The people who have become billionaires have been so allowed to have this status. So the question is, I do believe people have to wake up, okay? They've got to wake up in terms of they have caused this problem for themselves.
Okay, thank you, Don. There could be
I've got to get going.
No, thank you very much. Put your mute on. Okay, I'm going to skip myself right now for time, and we're going to go to Hal. Hal, please. But I got to unmute you. Unmute. You got to unmute your little button there on your lower left. There you go. Okay, Hal.
Okay, I don't have an answer to your question. I don't understand the psychology of it. The old phrase, power corrupts. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, that might be part of the answer.
But I think also, again, I'm not trying to Pollyanna things. And I, wrote something, I'm writing something this view out. Even to ask the question that way, buzzwords are really important. Absolutely. And I think, everybody is using buzzwords, which make the reality even worse, I think, if that makes any sense to people.
It does.
Oh, also, if I could just a second, I just wanted to bounce something off. I agree with what Doreen said in the beginning, and I think it was Sonia who was talking about all the commercials that were, in that program that were saying create and such like that. So use it for your own advantage. I mean, it may not be playing into what they want, but yeah, create something good out of it. You have the time now, use your ability.
Wait, hold it. I'm getting some interference. Everybody, please mute, because I'm getting some horrible background noise, which is very disturbing. And we're recording this. So please mute if you're not talking. Hal, are you finished with that?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. We'll go right to Anthony. Anthony, you're moving on the screen. You are now in the upper right.
With me, I'm almost in the upper left next to you. So I guess it does different configurations. I don't really know what to say about the blood rituals that you're talking about. I absolutely believe that capitalism corrupts at the highest level, and that there's some degree of organization. I just personally have not plugged into the belief that there's active intention of depopulation connected with blood ritual. I don't know. I mean, call me naive here. I definitely do think that there's a desire for less population, for more birth control. I have not yet seen the evidence of an evil Bill Gates with inoculations. Do I believe that there's photographic imaging possible in inoculations? Absolutely. Am I 100% against inoculations? Probably this COVID one, I would be. I don't trust it at all.
Don't.
However, I also don't want to see myself totally vaccine free with every single thing, especially some of these old-fashioned diseases. So I don't.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. All right. Well taken. Okay. We're going to go to Doreen. Doreen, your thoughts on this? How come some of these powerful people can do an incredibly evil agenda? What satanic even? What's going on?
Well, I'm not responsible for the people. I'm responsible for the way I think about things.
Of course.
And I cannot read into somebody else's heart and soul and judge them. I think there is a judge at some point at the end. So nobody gets away with anything. You know, if you think you do, it's only temporary. You'll have to pay the price because you're creating something that's it. But I believe there's so much more good going on the planet. You're just not informed of it. And on the world, there are wonderful groups of people that are highly elevated. And also you talk about the unseen beings from other worlds. They are here. There are plenty of teachers here. They just are waiting for us to, I guess, reach a point where we become more desperate and stop, putting out all this fear business. Because the worst fear, you're pulling your energies down, you're pulling the planet's energies down. We have, what did they say? It's only a dark background, a darkness against the white background. There's much more good going on. You just have to have eyes to see it. And besides the fact, I think competition is good. That's what drives civilization. Cooperation, they say, is better. So we have to take one step at a time. We can't get there until we raise our understanding of what is our purpose here, where are we going, and how we're going to get there. And you have to do it as a body. You know, they call it a soul body. The planet is one soul body. We just don't know it. We think we're disconnected, but we're not. So it's like the higher is having a war against the lower self, as they say, which one you're gonna feed, the evil or the good. That's an individual thing, but you're all a piece of the whole. You're all a part of the whole. Don't see yourself as separated, see yourself as connected, because we need each other to go forward. We can't separate from each other and thinking, well, we're better than them. And look, we don't know. That's all I could say. I don't know. I can't read somebody else's mind, and it doesn't matter to me. But if I have something that I could encourage other people with, if I could lift them up and look at the bright side of life, that everything is in darkness, that there are wonderful things, and young children. There are so many groups of young kids getting together and searching for truth and meaning. What are we going to give them? Negativity, fear, put them in like us, like the propaganda machine that feeds us? I don't think so. We have to change the way our economic structure, our educational structure, our political structure, but it has to go slowly, because anything that we understand is you do it too quickly, it'll just implode. You have to gradually feed people the positive, they'll look forward to a future. What is the future and how we're going to get there? And we can't get there alone. We do need each other. And
Well,
as someone said in your videos, just this last thing, they said, if we come out by thousands, they can arrest us all. So you have to stand up and be counted.
absolutely true. Absolutely. And I think also, I'm going to just add the one word here, balance. I think balance is very, very important. That whole what you just said. Thank you. Thank you very much, Doreen. Okay, Michael, please take it now.
Hi, are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, for some reason I was getting static on your end. Yeah, I certainly agree. I follow Doreen, and she's very positive, and I certainly agree with her comments on fear and not falling prey to it. And essentially, you're asking a question that is a difficult one to talk about with people because they can't wrap their heads around that for hundreds and thousands of years, the royal death racket, as you might call the royal families in Europe and everywhere, have been carrying out these behaviors that you described for quite some time.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
they essentially control the pocketbooks and direct the two leading families that we know about, the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, to carry things out in their name, because that's how they run things and that's how life has always been for them. So when you see people from royalties in various parts of Europe and so forth, you have to understand that these are monsters. These are not human beings. These are people who have been put there to control us, possibly by, in conjunction with alien forces. I don't know. But it's important to be aware, but not to let it to color the idea that we can find a way to overcome, as it were, to use our energies and our untapped powers to combat these forces. And I think and the information that's out there and the issues with what's happening with quantum communication and technology and all of its frightening implications. By the way, everybody, please go get Cyrus Parsa, P-A-R-S-A, and check out his videos. He's being interviewed a lot. Laura Eisenhower, Carrie Cassidy, and he also says, I have my own video all about the issues of artificial intelligence. And he also seems to
Michael, you're just getting off. Michael, your voice just went off. Your audio just went. I don't know what happened just now. Michael, can you hear me? No. Michael, I don't know what happened. Your audio.
I'm back.
What happened just now?
Internet connection got weak.
Ah, okay. If you want to, when you see YouTube on the person you just mentioned just now, if you'd send me that, I'll send it to everybody so we can see it together.
I'll put it on the chat.
Yeah, when you come across something like that, please do, because that's a way we can all connect. Okay, I'm hearing some. I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing background. I don't know. Is Jean? Are you doing that? Maybe you could just mute your Jean. Mute your.
Okay. I think. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jean. But
okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay, but try not to make noise, okay? Because it really carries. Okay. So Michael, good. We're going to go to Carol. The whole subject of what some people with all the power in the world to do good on some levels are not at all doing that. Do you have any comments?
Well, the discussion is going in many different directions. The thought I had was not using the idea of standard psychology, and you mentioned blood rituals, which brings back ideas from ancient practices, history. I'm into all that. And I'm not going to say I believe this, but maybe they're just possessed by there is a belief, there is an invisible world that exists together with our world. Not necessarily just aliens or people coming from other places, but from this world. And maybe these people are in league with that. And that if they're going to take that drug that's supposed to come from babies that you hear about in the conspiracy theory videos. If they're going to do that, they're doing things that have been done for centuries for whatever reasons. So that's the only thing I could think of. And then there are people who are also in the path of light who could, those are people in control. We're not in control, but as Doreen said, we can be aware and get together. Perhaps I have my own that I follow, and if all people were open to spirituality, find a path that works for them, that that's it.
Well, thank you very much. We had a tiny bit of trouble with the audio the last few seconds, but we heard everything else. So thank you for that. And now, Sonia, please, if you would just address that same question if you have some thoughts on it.
Yeah, what did I put down? Let me see. Oh, my notes. I believe that some of these people that are in satanic, world, I think there's room for that. They were raised from, from generation down to them, and they're raised like that, and it's negative energy, and negative attracts negative, and a lot of and also a lot of politicians that takes part in this also. I think they've been put in a compromised position through putting them in scandalous position and using that against them but I believe that negative attract negative, and these people have low energy, and they will attract negative entities from the other side, or it could be the grays. They know that where the negative, that's, like I said, like attracts like, and I think if we put, positive energy, good things in our life, we've been positive. So I really believe like attracts like, and that's my take on it.
Yeah, what you're saying about attracting good intentions and good thoughts, attractive good things, and negative and evil, satanic, can attract that too, and that we're capable of that. And yeah, so that's part of the answer. It's got to be part of it.
I just want to add before time is up. I want everybody. Let me see. I get it here. Coast to coast, East Coast. That program, Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah, of course.
They interview Michael Salas live on the 28th.
Oh, really?
It's on YouTube. So before they take it down, he had a lot to say. Let me tell you, it was like an hour and 45 minutes. And he also said almost the same thing that I read to you before from that article about the 5G and all that. He had similar, and he was talking about giant pyramids in China that China don't want the world to know. And in those pyramids, they have advanced technology from ancient times. Okay, and something else. But listen to it. It was April 28th on YouTube, Coast to Coast.
Thank you very much. That absolutely. Thank you for
I'm
suggesting.
going to find it and put it in the chat. I'm going to look for where I got it. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, when was he on Coast to Coast?
28th.
Oh, okay.
April 28th.
Got it. Got it. So it's on YouTube now.
Before they take it down, because he also said one more thing. That came to mind. He also said China is not putting all their resources to match our military stuff. What they're putting their money is into AI, okay, anti-gravity craft, and they're putting it into space program. And they're going to do it with AI. What they plan to do is espionage, and someday to surpass us and dominate the space, all right? And they could very easily do a space Pearl Harbor on us, because the United States is not putting as much money into the space program. We're really new. They just had their first graduates into the space program. And luckily Trump in the White House, I'm hoping that, with them, because Trump knows know about his uncle and Tesla and everything. We're hoping with them that, we'll catch it, we'll become more aware of it. But I just listened to him, an hour and 45 minutes of valuable information. He got his book out on Amazon, The Rise of the Red Dragon. He just put it out.
Oh, thank you very
much. The Rise of the Red Dragon.
Will do. Thank you for saying that and making us aware of that. Thank you very much. Tom, good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad that you see me. I made a mistake. I was dialing the old, keying in the old number for the meeting last time, and it said that the host already has a meeting in progress, and I finally figured out that it's a new number.
Oh yeah, every single time. Everybody know that too, that when I send a notice out, those numbers are different, the ones to click in. So understand that it's new every single time we do a Zoom. So that's a very easy mistake to make, Tom.
Oh, okay. So
did you start recording this from the very beginning? Do you know?
No, it was as soon as I got in, maybe 15 minutes late or something. But the second that I actually got in, I started the recording.
Okay, well, appreciate you doing
that. I didn't hear what the question was. So.
Okay, thank you. So the question again was, why am I getting this feedback? Listen to this. Who in the world is? I don't understand what's going on. So, Sonia, just mute yours too. Mute yours, Sonia. Okay, it's still going. I don't understand why that feedback is going on.
Maybe me. I have the cell phone right near the speaker. Is that better?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. That was me doing it. Okay, I'll hold the cell phone in my hand.
Oh, Nick, just one more thing. The YouTube, it was on Edge of Wonder, April 28th.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting it on chat.
Oh, thank you. Yep, that's a great, excellent one. So, Tom, address this for a second. I know you've done a lot of thinking on this too, but you've got multi-billionaires able to do incredible amounts of good. And as you've been reading what they are up to, what are your thoughts on that? How come? What's powering it?
Well, I guess the first thing I would say is I read this somewhere. I don't remember where it is, that in order for people who do really bad things to do those really bad things, they have to believe that what they're doing is good. I think that Hitler believed that what he was doing was good because he was, as far as he was concerned, he was making room for the pure-blooded Aryan race, that deserved to dominate every other race on the earth and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know I don't have an answer to the question of who's powering it, but to use an analogy to get actually two of them, maybe if I can, to get at what I think might be able to be done about it. I wonder if everybody who's on the meeting now remembers a film starring Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis called Witness.
Yep.
You remember that film? Okay. So what was happening in that story is that the head of the police in Philadelphia, whose last name was Schaefer, the character, was in cahoots with other corrupt cops who were selling drugs, making drugs, in connection with drug dealers and so on and so on, and murdering people, right? And Harrison Ford played Officer John Book, and he was shot, and he wanted to go somewhere where there was going to be nobody was going to be able to find him, and it was a little Amish boy who had been the witness to the crime, and he went to the Amish farm, right? And eventually it's sort of like he became a fellow Amishman, right? And then at the very end, when the bad guys came, right, and they were out to kill him, there were 3 bad guys, with rifles trying to kill him, and 2 of them Harrison Ford successfully killed off, and the only one left was the guy in charge, right? And so then what happened was that the little boy, the grandfather got the little boy to ring the bell in their steeple. And that made all the other Amishmen in the whole place come running over to his farm to see what was going on. And when they got there, and they saw what was going on. And the point was that the bad cop, he saw all these faces of all these pure, innocent people standing around, witnessing everything he was doing. And, he's tried to lie to them and get them to believe the lie, and they didn't believe it. He said, I'm all right, it's a police officer, this man's wanted for murder. And they didn't believe it, they didn't flinch. They knew the Book wasn't wanted for murder. They knew the Book was a good man. And then Book says, what are you gonna do, Paul? You're gonna shoot me? You're gonna shoot the child? You're gonna shoot the women? What are you gonna do? And when he looked into their faces and he saw all that, he couldn't stand it anymore. I don't know if everybody who saw the film remembers this. He couldn't stand to continue with the evil anymore. He was practically ready to faint or something. He leaned on the edge of the door to the barn or something like that, and he laid down the gun, and he just couldn't stand it. He was done with it.
He had enough.
Yeah, he'd had enough. So that's one thing. I don't know. It's awfully difficult to do with the people you're talking about, but maybe we can find a way to do that. And then the other one that I would give as an illustration, I guess everybody probably is familiar with some of Aesop's fables, right?
Yep.
Okay. I wonder how many of you are familiar with the fable of the wind and the sun.
No.
Familiar? Okay. Well, let me tell you, right? The wind and the sun, the wind is boasting about how powerful he is, right? And he says, I'm so powerful, I can do anything, right? And the sun says, oh, really? Well, let's test this, right? You see down there on the earth, there's a man there. And let's see which one of us is powerful enough to get the man's coat off of him, right? So the wind says, oh, that'll be easy. Let me go first. I can do it in 1 second, right? So the wind blows and blows and blows with all his fury and with all his might. And what happens? The harder he blows, the more the man clutches the coat to his body and the wind can't get it off, right? Then the sun says, oh, okay, you had your chance. Now it's my turn, right? So what does the sun do? He shines in all his peace and love and gentleness. He shines down and he makes it a little bit warm there, and the man is getting a little warm wearing the coat. Then he shines a little more, and the man is warm enough that of his own free will, he takes off the coat. And that's the point. It's the same thing as like the one with the witness. If you can get to the will, the motivation of the evil people, and replace it, shine out, like what Doreen was saying, shine out with your goodness in such a manner that it changes the motivation, so that the person who was, holding onto his coat and the wind, whose motivation was to blow real hard and be nasty and make the man freeze and suffer, you change the motivation, you turn it around to something positive, and you get the people to take off their coat of their own free will. So if we can do that, we can get these evil people to take off their own coat and to quit blustering and blowing, and trying to make people suffer, and do the exact opposite. So that would be my answer. Thank you.
Good answer. Amen. Wonderful fable there. Thank you for that. Really. Okay. Jean, I see you had a cat that wants a lot of attention. And
she is gone now. She is gone now.
What's the cat's name?
Maisie.
Aha.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful cat. Now, if you will, just give us your thoughts on what the proposed thought was about. Why do people do these things? Go ahead.
I don't know. I just don't know. Somebody made sense by saying that maybe they think that they are doing the right thing. I don't know how that could be, but they're saying things certainly different than I am. But I also agree with somebody else who said, we've got to shine our own light. During these times, I've been meditating a lot and sending out a lot of positive energy, because I think that nothing has made the globe come to a complete standstill like it is now. So there must be a reason for this. And I think that we're seeing a lot of kindness right now. People are really reaching out right and left. And we've got to continue this. We all probably remember after 9/11 how the world was reaching out to us. But then as time went on, people kind of got lazy in being kind to each other. I think that New York is a lot kinder than it was, say, in the 90s and the early 2000s. But we've got to continue in a positive way. This is a huge message that's coming down to us, and I think this is our chance to save ourselves. What I read is that a lot of the extraterrestrials are looking at us and feeling sorry for us, that we hurt each other so much. And so maybe they're part of this change that's happening. I mean, certainly this is huge, right? I mean, this is something that none of us ever thought would ever happen.
Yep.
But here we are, right?
Here we are. Yeah.
So we cannot go back to what it was. And I think it can only come with making our positive sides stronger and teaching others. If each of us bring one or two of us along to a positive sense of being and thinking, then we're headed in the right direction. I can only see positive from this.
Well, I think that your observations and your statements there are right on the money. I can tell you, and you probably have sensed this too, how many amazingly positive people are in our group. Our group has incredible people, spiritual people, and they're of all different faiths, all different faiths. But when it comes to kindness and sharing and being positive and trying to change the world for the better, we have a blessing of so many people in the group like that. So, and that's wonderful. That's what I would hope for. And it's here. So yeah, I totally get that. Thank you for your comments there. Jean, Duffy, can you hear us? No. I'm not.
Okay, I took you off mute. Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay, Jean, hi. I'm glad you're here. We can hear you fine. Do you want to take a shot at that question and see what you have?
In the questions about how the people in power feel that they can do these things.
Some of the people are motivated to do things that it's hard to understand their motivation of doing some things that are certainly on a huge scale evil and bad things, and that can hurt a great many people. What is that about? Do you have any idea there?
Yeah, I do have an idea. I call it the White Castle Tower. That these people are so detached. They don't see the average person. They have their own homes, their own drivers, their own chefs, their own laundress. They never see the real people. They only see their friends who come and go. Like there was a story out in the Hamptons, big people were very angry. People came out from Manhattan or from Boston, and they were having parties, totally ignoring the six feet distance, and they were consuming all the food and all the PPE, the masks and stuff like that. And they weren't following any of the rules. They were just partying because they thought, as usual, the law doesn't apply to them. What's the expression? Money talks and then money walks.
So part of it is the fact that they are not connected with the common man on such a level that they're not getting it. They're not seeing what's going on.
Correct. That's my belief.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of truth to what you just said too. That, let them eat cake. That whole thing about well, why can't they just relax and be like us and have another piece of cake? That just that idea of that when the reality is quite different. Certainly, the reality of what's going on with people that have a job that's now gone and with very little hope that it's going to be back in a reasonable amount of time. Meanwhile, the monthly bills are piling up. Oh my God! I mean, this is horrific on such a scale. We'll go into that a little bit, but thank you. All right, so everybody's had a turn here. I just want to take a moment to say two things. That one is that on Saturday, May 9th at 9 o'clock is the next podcast that I do. I do a podcast every Saturday night and every month of the year. And the one coming up on May 9th, which is next Saturday, is the news program. It's a cutting edge news program. Michael has been on, he's been my guest. And this coming Saturday, we're going to have a news analysis by Marcy Gordon. Now, Marcy Gordon, as you all know, is a deep researcher. She's got unbelievable information that she's been sharing with us for the last years. And she's amazing of the energy that she has to dig deep and connect the dots. She's another one that I am so thankful for. She's going to be my guest for the whole hour, and she's got a lot going on there, so don't miss that. And also another one too is on Sunday, May 17th is our next Zoom meeting. So I just want to make you aware of that. Okay, that's coming up. And also one other thing, and that is the next one we have in a couple more weeks. And that's the one called Connecting the Dots. It's again on Saturday at 9 o'clock. They're all on Saturdays at 9 o'clock. Coming up, my co-host is Mary Jo Fahey. Mary Jo Fahey is an amazing researcher. She, with me, founded Disclosure Network New York 19 years ago, a little more than that. Mary Jo now lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but but she's an amazing part of our group and has been all these years. And she is now digging deep into another subject. And this is what she wrote to me. She said, Nick, my next program with you is going to be about DNA findings. And what she said, Nick, I dug deep into that and I'm not easily shocked. She said, what's going on now with in the laboratories with that field will shock you beyond belief. She said, I couldn't imagine that this is actually real, but she's found a lot of background information about it. And she'll be doing that podcast coming up. You're going to get, on the emails I send you, you're going to get the time and date and a little bit more. But I just wanted to make you aware of those 3 things that are coming right up. So we're going to go on now with one other part of this, and that is, I think, a very important part too. And this is the second item I want to put on the table for you for this Zoom meeting, and that is the term conspiracy theorist. Now, as you know, we've been searching for a term to replace that. I'm sure you can't escape looking at all the news, and every time they want to slam anybody who's doing some honest research, trying to find out what's really going on, not what mainstream media is telling us, but what's really going on, which is sometimes totally different. And they'll say, oh, she's a conspiracy theorist, so, what can you expect? And they throw that aggressively all the time. I know you've seen this, heard this. So we said, is there anything that you can invent, another term to replace it? Why do we have to keep saying that conspiracy theorist, which is really a weapon that was used to discredit people who honestly want to find the truth? Anyhow, so we sent that out and we asked people to vote to send suggestions in about what term they would want to put in its place. And we got a number of people that have come up with things. And I took a look at that, and we have a consensus now of a term that people seem to say we would be very happy with this term. So you're the first people to hear it. And we have there was your first choice, and then if you had a second choice, what would that be? That's how it was phrased. And a great many people, in fact, that are at this meeting were the people that voted on this. And what we have now is a truth activist. A lot of people felt was strong and to the point. I personally like it too very much. I think the truth activist, it says it in 2 words, and it can be used by us as well as other people. When you want to give someone credit for their research, you can say, well, they're in the truth activist group. Start putting it out there, because the more you put it out there, people are going to, well, that's a great term, and they will also use it. And that may absolutely change for a lot of people how they see things. If it's being reported by a truth activist, as opposed to where they're a conspiracy theorist, it makes a huge difference. And I want to ask people if they have what they think about that term. Do you like it? Can we go around here a little bit? Hal, what do you think about that? You got to unmute. Could you unmute, please? Okay.
I'm going to pass on this discussion. I don't think that I'm a good person to take part in it.
Okay. All right. Anthony?
Sure. I think it's a great term. Do I think it solves, people that don't want to hear a quote unquote theory? They're just going to still just say truth activist, as if they're saying conspiracy theorist. Do I think it's better though? And I think it will dent. Yeah, absolutely. I was also thinking of like reality activist or something, but I like truth activist better. Yeah.
Okay. And again, you know, if you have, again, if you have other thoughts about other terms, there's nothing wrong. But you keep using conspiracy theorists. I mean, the people that are basically enemies of the truth, that's what they use to slam a lot of people. And so, but the thinking of using something else, and your suggestion's also valid. That's a good one too. And I think it's also very strong. Doreen.
Yes, thank you. I would think truth enlightened, because activist has a negative association with activists, and it could be positive and negative. But I would say, you know, people that are enlightened to the truth, or enlightened honesty. It has to be both positive so that it attracts people who are pretty open-minded instead of identifying with what has been before.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good point. Michael.
Well, I like truth activists, but truth researcher is where I was going, just because research is a little more, she talks about activism being kind of a hot term. Researcher is pretty neutral. So that would be my only comment, but I like truth activists just fine.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike. Hi, Carol, please. You got to unmute your,
Yeah.
there you go.
It takes a while for me to reach out.
That's okay.
I don't really like the term.
Okay. Do you have another term that you'd like better?
Similar to what Doreen said, and just to point out that you may know this, conspiracy theorist was coined by the FBI.
Yes. And the reason was to discredit people at the time with the JFK assassination.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you imagine? So they were spending their time and money and thinking to come up with something so that people wouldn't put two and two together, trying to find out who killed our president. I mean, think of that for just a moment. That
No, CIA, not FBI.
I just wanted to say, I like what Michael said. I like the idea of I like something like fact finders, just simple fact finders, and bringing in the truth, facts that cannot be refuted.
Okay.
There's no way to how are you going to taint that? It's facts, and here's the proof.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can refute the facts or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hi, Sonia, please.
Oh, yeah. I like that truth researcher and fact finder. I like them both. But I also like the one that you mentioned, Nick. So I like all three. Anything's better than conspiracy theory. Because as soon as I say to somebody, according to conspiracy theory, I could see the eyes glaze over. It's like, all right, here we go, you know? So,
Yep.
yeah, but I like the one with I like that word in it, the researcher. You know, it's like, you know, we're talking about somebody who did the research, you know, and fact finder, you know, people that, you know, got the facts. So I like them both.
You know, I would like to ask everybody right now that when you get through this meeting, before you forget it, you've all suggested other alternatives. And would you email me all of those so I can also put them on the list? Okay, so I have a list that has everything that you just said, because everyone has, not everybody, but a lot have come up with a second one they like. Email me those, if you will, okay? So I have a list of them. I would appreciate you doing that. Okay, now Tom,
Yeah. Okay.
What is your feeling here?
Okay. Well, among the ones that you had on the list on the email, I like truth activists, but my personal thoughts are that, you know, imagine when you try to imagine what the people who slam others and are doing when they, you know, when they call them conspiracy theorists, if the word truth is in it, you know, what I think their reaction is going to be is, oh, these people are so pretentious, they assume that they know the truth, you know, and I would want to, you know, steer away from that. And I like truth researcher because it implies we're searching for the truth, you know, but still, even having the word truth in there, I would like to steer away from any chance of negative reaction from the people who invented the term conspiracy theorist, and simply use the term independent investigator.
All right, we'll put that on the list. Email me that, please.
Mm-hmm. Because the idea of independent means that You know, I'm not going to just swallow what they tell me on the news. I'm not going to take other people's word for it. I'm going to be independent and search for myself, you know, and then independent researcher would be okay too, but I like independent investigator because you can abbreviate it II. Everybody could remember that.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good, yeah, please email me that if you will.
Yeah.
Good thinking on that, Tom. And there's no reason why we have to just stick to one. You know, we could use the best of what we just said as we write to the editors of magazines and newspapers. You can use, you know, but anything but conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist. Don't go anywhere near that because it's a weapon for destruction, deliberately done. Okay. All right, Gene, if you will, unmute, please.
So I thought that the word, well, I think it's the word activist in the positive because usually the activists are speaking their truth, right? Or acting on their truth.
Okay.
But this this independent investigator, you got me. That's it. Because I think that best describes me.
Okay, excellent. That's a very powerful, it's a powerful term, and it's so much better than what we've been spoon fed, for sure. So please put that on the list. Email me all that. Okay, and Elizabeth, hello, and please go ahead. Unmute. There you go.
Yeah, I like independent investigator too.
Okay.
I definitely don't want to say truth because everyone there has their own truth, but someone else said fact. So either fact finder or fact researcher or independent researcher would be good too. For me.
Does somebody have does somebody have a TV or radio or something? Turn it off, please.
Yeah, I can't. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to mute.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Gene, can you hear me?
This Gene? Hi.
Hi. There you go. How come we don't have a picture of you?
Because the laptop I'm using does not have a camera.
Okay. All right.
And my cell phone, I couldn't get it to work either.
We're going to have to dream up what you're currently looking like, then, Gene.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's good. All right. Now tell me, now do you have, how do you feel about that term, or do you have any other terms you'd like to suggest?
I think it's good to have different terms for it instead of pigeonholing people into one. I do like truth searcher, alternative truth. I like the word truth because that's the end goal, is to find out what it truly is, not making something up. I like the word truth. So I'm open up to many definitions.
Okay, and what you just said, if you can, please email me what you just said also with those terms you just mentioned. Just go ahead and do that. Even though they were already mentioned, please do that again because I don't want to miss any.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your comment. And we have all the way over to the bottom right square. Hello, 203. How are you? Are you there? No? Hello? No, you're not there? No, I can't hear it. Okay, well, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to move it along. All right, we're almost finished. Oh my God, this has gone. We're almost up to 90 minutes, which is usually what we try to do. We have about maybe 10 more minutes. Oh, God bless you.
Sorry.
So I'd like to just ask now, just a general question. What would you like to put on the agenda for the next meeting for Zoom? Is there any issues you especially want to address? Just wave if you want to just talk. Just wave and I'll see who you are. Any particular burning issues that you want to go into? I could name some things. Okay, we got a wave for the hello there. Staten Island, go right ahead.
Okay, this was mentioned earlier, and I'd like to hear more about it. The Post, the Times, the news, they put out a lot of information, well, short information, about that there are UFOs. And I know there's been a lot of argument all of a sudden well, they're doing it as a false flag. Well, it's finally disclosure. And I'd like to hear more about that.
Me too. Yes, we could go into that more. That's a good suggestion. We'll put that down. Thank you very much, Al. Anybody else want to put something on the table for next time? Yeah, Tom, go right ahead.
Okay. I don't exactly know what we're going to find if we put this on the table, but recently I thought that it would be very appropriate to order a copy of the movie The Andromeda Strain. I thought that, you know, that situation is so similar to what's going on now, right? So that movie was made in about maybe 1970 or 71, something like that, right? Long before they had PCs and of course before they had computer graphics. But the thing was that as soon as all the scientists on this panel discovered that, yes, indeed, this space capsule had come down on Earth in this little tiny town, and inside of it was this Andromeda strain virus from another galaxy or whatever it is, right? Another star system. And they found that the little town had a population of less than 70 people, and they were all dead with two exceptions. There was a 6-month-old baby, and there was a man about 70 years old, right? And what do you think the first thing was that this team of scientists decided to investigate? They decided to investigate what is it that's the same about these two people for them to have survived the virus when everyone else is dead from the virus, right? And I haven't seen that going on, you know, with what we have here. You know, the current powers that be, whoever they are, have not learned anything in whatever it is, 50 years since that movie came out. At first they said they think that only the old people are going to be passing away, and people who have preconditions and people who have compromised immune systems. And then they discovered that infants were dying of it, and people of all ages, people that were healthy, you know, and young and strong, were also dying of it. So what I would want is anyone doing that? Is anyone trying to find out, you know, what is it that the people who are surviving of all different ages and different, you know, nationalities and, you know, different bodily makeups and all that have in common? What they found in the movie finally was that the virus could only survive within the regular so-called normal pH range of the blood. And the old man had an extremely alkali blood because he was drinking a lot of alcohol. And the baby had extremely acidic blood because it was crying so much and breathing in so much oxygen so fast, and that was messing up the blood. And that was why those two survived. And that was how they figured out what to finally do about it. You know, so that's what I would put on the table, to try to find out whether there's anyone out there who is doing that kind of research.
Excellent. That will be on the agenda, and I will also put that in the path of Mary Jo Fahey, who is a deep, deep researcher, especially in the medical field, because she might have some answers to that. Excellent question. Thank you. Anybody else have any more that you want to put on there? Okay. Well, I'm going to do first of all, I want to thank you all for being here and for doing this meeting. I think it was successful, and I think that we're doing our objectives here of staying together and sharing information, and we should keep doing these meetings until we're able once again to go to the center. You know what? That seems like the good old days, doesn't it? When we were actually face to face in the same room, and that Hal and I were putting up the big murals of the universe, and we had people from England and from Hawaii and from California doing their presentations for us. That was wonderful. I want that so much to return, and I'm sure that you all do too. So I'm going to end the meeting now by doing my end monologue, the little bit of I have at the end of it, and this will be edited also. So let me do that, please. And again, I thank you all for being here. This is Nick Curto for Disclosure Network New York, wishing you all an enlightened journey as you connect the dots